In the late 1990s, Craig McCracken, the producer of the Powerpuff Girls, presented a chapter different from the ones we had already seen. It was about death and revenge. The professor is with a woman who looks like Miss Kim, but this one has long hair and is pregnant. The professor hugs her as they look together at a pink room, the room of their future daughters. Later, the woman and the professor are at the doctor's office watching the ultrasound of their babies. At the same time, Mojo Jojo spies from his den on the professor and cries to see him happy. He remembers when he lived with the professor and they were friends. With all the pain in his heart and a broken voice, he exclaimed, "If I can be happy, no one will be happy." So he decided to destroy Townsville, and since the Powerpuff Girls have not yet been born, Mojo Jojo carries out his goal without anyone stopping him. The professor is hiding with his wife, but Mojo finds them. He grabs his wife with his robot hands. The scientist begs and pleads on his knees to his old partner to free his wife, but the chimpanzee takes great pleasure in seeing his former owner destroyed. Therefore, he orders his machine to slowly crush the professor's wife. Utonium's face is now stained with his wife's blood. Meanwhile, the insane laughter of the monkey pierces his ears. The professor can't stop crying. After several minutes, an ambulance arrives and takes him away. Days later, the professor finds himself in a dark place, dressed in a black robe. Suddenly, an ebony cloud announces the appearance of a mysterious being who offers him the necessary weapons to take revenge against Mojo. Then, it disappears. In the same place, the professor begins his experiments. "At last," he mutters. At that moment, the Powerpuff Girls emerged, but they were not as he wanted them to be. They were terrible creatures that looked like humans. However, when they open their mouth and try to articulate words, they shoot out piercing screams and wails. At that moment, the professor is overcome with madness and delivers a hard blow to their heads. Now Utonium has two options: to follow the advice of the mysterious being, or to press the trigger of the pistol in his left hand and take his own life. After a few seconds of thought, he leaves the gun on his desk and decides to return to work. While experimenting with the instructions of the mysterious being, his diabolical creations emerge again. They just scream and writhe. It gives the sensation that they want to kill him from the desperation of their screams. He gets rid of them again and repeats the experiment. And so on and on and on. A year later, the professor is emaciated as if he were a skeleton with ragged clothes due to the terrible formula that the evil entity left him and the effort to get rid of the malformations. At that moment, a mysterious light appears to him and speaks to him. It tells him that it will help him to create some girls to be his daughters with superpowers. He gives him the condition that he must use them for good though. Not believing what he sees, Utonium accepts. He makes a test and finally, the Powerpuff Girls are born. McCracken wanted to broadcast this gory episode as a dark version of a Halloween special, but he wasn't allowed to for obvious reasons. This chapter better never see the light of day. What do you think of this story? Leave us in the comments what you want our next video to be. Until the next video.